Hi guys, Paul from Warrior Tactical Systems here. I attended training by Michael Janich this weekend over at Buckeye Combatives in Columbus, Ohio, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about it. It's a excellent system. It's really Filipino martial arts basically for modern use. So it's got a lot of the elements of the Filipino martial arts, but he's adapted it for use here in the United States with our legal system and the differences in size and everything that we have here. He really pulled the essential elements that you need and has a very intelligent method of putting it together. It's simple. That's one of the things I really like about it, and if you guys have watched any of my videos or trained with me, you know that simple is a compliment. Simple means that you can probably apply it under stress and you can remember it, you can get good at it because you're not doing a million things, you're doing a few things well. So it's a system to use the blade or fight against the blade. So he has the counter blade concepts and the martial blade concepts. The first day, one of the things too also, it's made for regular people. It's not anything that requires crazy attributes. You don't have to be super flexible or this or that. As he was teaching throughout the weekend, he said, well, if you have the flexibility, you can do this. If not, here's a modification for that. So, it's really built for the regular person that they can apply it right away, and it's very functional. But again, he has the counterblade concepts and the martial blade concepts. The first day was the counterblade concepts, and he covered the split X, which is very familiar to me coming from a Filipino martial arts background. He's changed it. It's modified from what you're used to seeing, some adaptation to it, but it's familiar also. And what I liked about it is instead of teaching you 10 techniques against an angle one, he's teaching you one technique that can work against multiple angles. So that's going to help you remember it and apply it much faster. The other thing I like is his reference point. I call them reference points, where we hunt to get to control the blade and to understand what techniques we have from there, that sort of thing. And his main reference point was a compression lock from the inside or outside of the arm. And I like the simplicity of that, keeping that consistent reference point throughout, learning to get to it from different positions and to hunt for that basically. So that's going to again help people retain it quicker, and I'm looking forward to pressure testing that reference point and getting in there and working with it a little bit. I think it's going to be good. It gave you a large surface area, that X split X, to pick up a surprise attack with the blade, and there was no fancy stuff. It was simple. He didn't go chasing disarms or doing anything fancy. It was very, very effective, very functional. He had a drill that I liked. It was kind of unique to train you to recognize whether there was a weapon in the person's other hand or a blade. So you could learn to identify and make decisions in the middle of the action there. And I really enjoyed that part. And he had a passing drill also that he put in that'll enable you to work this in a drilling format where you're picking up other angles, you're reacting a little bit. And again, throughout, he was talking about the legal aspects, so you understand the legal use of force as you're doing these techniques. Now, second day, the martial blade concepts day, that was the knife work. So you have the knife now instead of defending against the knife. What I really liked was his targeting and the reasoning behind his targeting, and the structural targeting from a legal standpoint and from a functional standpoint. He made a really good point about coroners. If they see a body come across once a month of a stabbing victim, and then they see somebody that you had to use your knife for self-defense on, and they look exactly the same, that doesn't look good for you. It makes it look like it's used maliciously, even if it wasn't. But through his targeting, it's very different than what they would see from a common stabbing. The targeting is very distinct, and if they had to testify about that, they could say it's very different, and it didn't appear that he's targeting for lethal shots. It's targeting for structural damage, to stop their person's action, which is our goal. He had consistent on various angles, one of the things I like. So again, when you're coming with angle 1 through 5, he's doing very similar techniques, so it enables you to pick it up faster, retain it, and get good at it because you're consistently working towards those same areas. And there was some variety too. I mean, he gave you some options when you run into certain situations, some ideas, but that consistency, I believe, is important, and it enhances your skill if you work something like that. He also worked the reaction drills, so taking the core techniques that he was teaching and putting them into a reactionary drill helped to build those quick reactions in you and recognize angles. I like that. Now, overall, Janich, he's very knowledgeable. He worked for Paladin Press for a time, so he got to not only get all the training that he's gotten over the years and all his experiences, but also learn from so many other great martial artists and systems, and to be able to integrate a lot of that. Is very intelligent the way he put it all together. He was extremely skilled. You can't fake that. I mean, you can't fake that motion. So you could see in his movements, extremely skilled. Great sense of humor, very entertaining instructor. But the biggest part was there's no ego. I didn't see any bragging or, any of that crap. It was all about the student. And that was very impressive because he's done a lot of things that he could brag about in the martial arts, but he didn't. One of the things I really like that I'm going to adopt into my teaching is throughout the training he was asking, what do you guys want to see? What do you need? What are you looking for? What kind of questions or situations do you have that you need answers to? And I do that as well at the end of my seminars a lot. I'll ask him that, but he was doing it throughout. And I really like that. I want to, adopt that. And that was really the attitude. It was about the students. The culture he created is one of the most impressive things. Many of his advanced people were there, people that were instructors under his system. And what was great as a student, you had multiple people coming up and helping you and refining things, and they did a great job with that. But the instructors were the same way. There was no ego. It was all about the students. They had other people's shirts on, other trainers and different things, and that was no problem. It wasn't like a cult where you had to worship the master or anything like that. Very down to earth, very cool group of people. And, I'm looking forward to taking some of this, pressure testing it a little bit, and seeing what comes out of it. I really think it's going to be some good stuff there. And I know personally I'll be attending more training of theirs when I get a chance. Buckeye Combatives over there by Columbus is also a really great place. They bring in a lot of seminars, and if you get a chance, check them out online. They're on Facebook, and just look up Buckeye Combatives. But if you get a chance, check out Michael Janich and Marshal Blade Concepts and Counterblade Concepts. I highly recommend it if you can find one of his instructors near you or can get to one of his seminars. You won't be disappointed. Very practical, quality stuff. All right, guys.